Hi, good morning everybody. Welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. It's Wednesday, July the 16th. Hope everyone's doing well and that the work week is going just as you would like it to go. So, to boxing. We're halfway through fight week. And with the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship of the World on Saturday, it acts in a way like a black hole. It sucks all the boxing news towards the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship of the World. What that means is that there are some other fights taking place, either on the same card or on other cards, that we kind of, let slip, or they sort of go under the radar. Or, in the case of someone like me, who has a small hobby YouTube channel, there's only really so much time you want to spend in front of a screen talking about the upcoming fights that you kind of like, if I spend an hour talking about this and I'm not going to spend time talking about that kind of thing. Obviously, for larger channels that are run as a business, then they can probably cover everything. One of the fights that, there's a couple. There's two fights that I am quite interested in. One is on the same card as Usyk Dubois, and that's the Kevin Lerena, Lawrence Okolie fight. And we'll talk about that on another video. But there's a fight on another card at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Same day, the 19th, and I think it's on Amazon Prime pay-per-view. Now, I won't be buying it because I've already spent my allotted money on the big Undisputed, but I do want to talk about this fight. And it's a 12 rounds featherweight fight between Brandon Figueroa and Joet Gonzalez. Now, let's just have a boo at the tail of the tape. So Brandon Figueroa, who is out of Texas, he's rated number 5 in the world at featherweight. His nickname is the Heartbreaker. He's aged 28, stands 5'9", and has a reach of 72.5. 25 wins, 19 by way of. 2 losses, and both losses have been to Stephen Fulton. One was controversial, and one was less so, I guess. That's just the... back in 2021, he lost a majority decision to Stephen Fulton. Then in 2022, he came back and he TKO'd Carlos Castro, had a unanimous decision in 23 against Mark Magsayo. 2024, had a KO against Jesse Magdaleno. And then in 2025, so, this year, in February, he lost that unanimous decision to Stephen Fulton. So, Stephen Fulton clearly is the only person professionally who's been able to beat him. So he's still got a very, very good record. He's got 1 draw as well. So he is also let's check my notes, the former WBC, sorry, I just couldn't read my own handwriting, super bantam. And of course, he lost the WBC featherweight match to Fulton. I just got myself all confused there. Please bear with me. Volume puncher, obviously with knockout power. If you look at that knockout ratio, it's sort of 75 or so %, right? To be fair, in his last outing against Stephen Fulton, I didn't think that he looked as good as previously. But, you know, everybody, eye of the beholder, right? Some people might think that I'm incorrect there, and that's totally fine. Let's have a look at Gonzalez. Now, Gonzalez is 27 wins, and he has got 4 losses. Of his 27 wins, 15 are by way of. So his stoppage ratio is 50, low 50s, 50, 54, 55%, right? He's the older man, he's 31. He's also the smaller man, 5'6". And what might be key is he has a 70-inch reach. So shorter reach, shorter guy, older guy. He boxes out of California. So both Americans, and they're fighting in Vegas. Let's have a quick look. He lost in 2019 to Shakur Stevenson. He lost against Navarrete in 21. He lost a split decision in 22 against Isaac Dogbo. And in 23, he's lost against Luis Alberto Lopez. His last outing in March of this year was against Arnold Kigai, split decision win. So his record is not as good as Figueroa. He is coming off a win, whereas of course Figueroa is coming off that loss to Stephen Fulton. So, you know, one guy's coming off a win, possibly a bit more confidence, and more recently in March. The other guy's coming off a loss in February. So maybe, you know, my take on this, to be perfectly honest, is that we have the volume puncher with more power, a taller man with a longer reach against the smaller man who his record would suggest doesn't have as much power, and it's likely he can't outbox the bigger man with the longer reach. So I'm strongly leaning towards Brandon Figueroa to prevail in this fight, and that would be sort of, you know, comparable to what the bookies appear to think. The bookies have Figueroa at a plus 200, or in my jurisdiction, the decimal odds are 1.43. Gonzalez, Vegas odds are minus 260. My jurisdiction, he's 3.00 decimal odds. So the bookies would sort of agree that Figueroa is the quite strong favorite. And I think that that's probably right. So if I was going to put some money on this fight, you know, I would probably put a bet on Figueroa. I think Figueroa is, I think the fight's going to go the distance. I would, that would be my, if I was going to put a bet, I'd put a bet on a straight win, you know, points or stoppage. But if I was sort of really to drill down and pick the method of victory, I probably would go for a points win for Figueroa. So, like I say, this is one of the fights that I just didn't want to, you know, forget about, go under the radar. I think it could be a good fight. I don't think that this is like a walkover or anything like that. I think it could be a good fight. Gonzalez will be there to fight, and I think it'll be a good test, but I would expect Figueroa to win. Either later on today or certainly before fight night, I will also talk about Kevin Lerena and Lawrence Okoli. And if I can, I'll also make some comments about Fundora and Sue. Because again, that's a fight that, you know, with this undisputed heavyweight championship of the world drawing all the attention to it, you know, we don't want to sort of miss some of these fights. There we go. That's my take for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much for your time, as always. Wherever you are, have a fabulous day. Cheers. Bye-bye.